So you've got an expensive bottle. And now you're afraid to open it. Perfect. You clicked the right video. I get this question all the time. People don't want to waste a luxury bottle in cocktails, or they only take it out for very special occasions. But the whole point of spirits like this is to enjoy them, not to let them gather dust. So today I'll help you find a special occasion to open an expensive bottle, give you 4 simple, elegant ways to enjoy it, then I'll show you something you haven't seen before.
It's cocktail time.
Life is short, so don't wait for a special occasion. Make opening that fancy bottle the special occasion. And after, you finally decide to do that. I think the best way to enjoy it is neat. I'll be using Scotch for the examples, but the same tips work for other spirits. And even wine. You just serve them a little differently. Come with me, I want to enjoy this in a more comfortable setting. When you taste whiskey neat, you really get to know its character. It shows you what a spirit is all about, and it gives you a feel for how it could work in cocktails. For full transparency, I'm not a spirit sommelier, but this is how I do it. I start with the color. Just tilt it a bit and see how the light changes it. Try to find white background, because in this way you'll see the true color. Well, this is hard in the studio because everything is quite dark. With, let's say, brown golden color. And then let's go to the aroma. Smell with your mouth slightly open. It brings in more air and makes it easier to pick out different layers. Rich, full-bodied, slightly floral with heather petals. Dehydrated fruits like pears, plums, and in general quite matured. A few more breaths and then a small sip. Let the spirit move around in your whole mouth. Feel the texture and how it coats everything. Then swallow and breathe out. That's when a lot of the aroma comes back. Subtle smoke, rich in taste, nicely ripened and dehydrated fruits, honey, butterscotch. Lovely whiskey. I like to do this once or twice more. Then I focus on the aftertaste, how long it stays and what kind of notes it brings. Warm, long-lasting aftertaste that lingers on your tongue. Another way to try it is with a few drops of water. Just a little bit. That's enough to lower the alcohol strength and open things up. Give it another smell. You'll notice some different layers now. Some things get softer and some show up more clearly. With a slightly lower ABV, there is more fruitiness coming through. That rich, dehydrated fruits, like I said before, plums, pears, maybe it's slight peaches as well. That's what I'm tasting more here. The change is similar when you sip it. After you've done all that, don't forget the most important part. Take your time to really enjoy it. Some people also like their whiskey on the rocks. That's fine, but just know that ice cools the spirit down, and that can hide some of the flavors. But if that's your favorite way to drink it, enjoy it this way. Speaking of special occasions, we have one today. We are adding a new name to our wall of fame. Thank you Elisa Calvo for joining our top tier on Patreon. Quick tip, if you need a last minute gift idea, you can give a Cocktail Time Patreon membership to someone that loves cocktails. On to one of my favorite ways to enjoy whiskey. A simple highball, perfect for when you want something lighter. Don't be afraid to add soda to your whiskey. Only a good whiskey makes a good highball. Remember that. Cold is key with this one. That keeps the bubbles in. Start with a chilled glass and quality ice. I like a 2:1 ratio of soda to whiskey. If this becomes your favorite way to enjoy whiskey, you can even keep the bottle in the fridge for extra cold highballs. I also add saline solution. A small amount goes a long way to boost the flavors, just like in cooking. Pour the soda gently so don't lose the bubbles. Use a scale if you want to be precise. One small stir is enough. For a garnish, I like a small circle of citrus peel. Lemon is usually my go-to, but you can go with orange, grapefruit or even tangerine for a more festive feel. Some people like to top their whiskey with still water instead. That's fine too, but I like the bubbles. They lift everything and keep it refreshing. Now this is my kind of drink. Cheers. light, refreshing, still bold in terms of flavor and aroma. Yeah, much more drinkable, especially during, let's say, warmer days. But with a tangerine peel, like in this one, goes well in festive season as well. I love this drink. Light, refreshing, lower ABV. Just perfect. If you want something a bit richer, an old-fashioned is a great way to enjoy a good whiskey. The old-fashioned comes from a time when whiskey was rougher, so people added sugar, bitters, and a little warm water to smooth it out. With good whiskey today, I'm not hiding anything. This is adding balanced layers and letting the spirit shine. To do that, I'm using aromatic bitters, a little rich syrup, and a bit of saline. Stir with plenty of ice in a mixing glass, then strain into a chilled rocks glass. I love using these spheres. The classic garnish is to express the essential oils from an orange peel over the cocktail and place it in. But today I got something special. This is Witch Blood by 𝗏𝗲𝘄𝘀𝗹𝗲𝘁𝗁𝗍, a cocktail perfume made in small batches. It adds aroma to your drink without changing the balance or sweetness. A light spray sits on top of the cocktail and stays with you for the whole drink. It's a bridge between mixology and perfumery. Witch Blood has warm notes of cinnamon, ginger, a maple-like sweetness, and a touch of smoke, so it fits perfectly with a festive whiskey cocktail like this one. Using it is easy. Shake the bottle, hold it away from the cocktail, then give it 1 or 2 light sprays. That's all you need. If you want to try Witch Blood or give it to someone as a gift, use the code KEVIN10 at 𝗏𝗲𝘄𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗁. Let's try an old-fashioned. I love the smell. 1 spray of 𝗏𝗲𝘄𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗁 goes a long way. Beautiful aroma of cinnamon, warm spices, ginger. Lovely. To be honest, I think this is one of the best old fashions I ever had. Amazing. Cinnamon, these festive spices goes super well with whiskey we use, so Chivas 18 here. It goes together with caramel notes, honey notes, this floralness, well balanced with sweetness. An amazing old-fashioned. Please try it. For the final elevated cocktail, I wanted something that really feels like the holidays, and nothing says that more than Panettone. A flavor pairing like you've never seen before. I'll make a Scotch classic with an Italian twist, so I'm calling it Roberto Roy. It all starts with Panettone Whisky, which you will see how to make in a second. This tastes amazing, and it also bridges the Scotch whiskey and the Italian sweet vermouth. I'm going with orange bitters for this one. It just feels like the right pairing. Saline to boost all the flavors. Then add ice and stir until it's mixed, chilled and diluted. Strain it into a chilled stemmed glass. For garnish, I'll add a small slice of fresh panettone and of course a spray of Witch Blood by 𝗏𝗏𝘄𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗁, like a festive season in a glass. Now let's try this festive cocktail. Roberto Roy. Nice on the smell, with plenty of spices. But then panettone comes through with wine notes, aromatics from bitters and vermouth. All tastes are nicely layered one on top of each other, so none of them are peeking through, which is great. There is not too much panettone, not too much spices. Nice little dessert. Now I'll show you something you haven't seen before, because this technique wasn't used for anything other than coffee before. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I did something similar a few years ago with a donut. For that I blended the donut directly into the whiskey, clarified it with milk, before making the donut old-fashioned. But today's process was inspired more by the clear espresso martini. For that one, I used a fat washing technique to add a coffee flavor into vodka. That made it possible to create this colorless espresso martini. So first, I need some oil and a good panettone. It can have many different aromas and flavors. This one is tiramisu flavored. The fat in the oil is what it works as a bridge that carries all those flavors into our whiskey. First, I dry the panettone. If you have leftovers from the holidays, that's perfect. If it's fresh, you can let it dry out, or speed it up in the oven or a dehydrator. Next, blend it with a natural oil. I'm using sunflower oil because it doesn't bring much flavor on its own. Then I strain it through a paper towel cone in a Chemex. A regular coffee filter might block the flow, so this works better. Here's a fun detail. Sugar doesn't dissolve in oil. That means this won't make our whiskey sweet. We are only pulling the flavors. So now we have what could be called panettone oil. Mix that with our whiskey in a sous vide bag and seal it. Using a sous vide will make the process of flavoring whiskey faster and more controlled. After 2 hours, let it cool down. Then put it in the freezer. As it chills, the fat sets on top and separates from the whiskey. After a day, it's time to strain the whiskey. This time, using a coffee filter. I like to keep the Chemex in the fridge for this, so the fat doesn't melt back into the liquid. After a few hours, you'll end up with Panettone whiskey. Unlike the donut Old Fashioned, this doesn't get cloudy when chilled, because we removed all of the fats. When you try it neat, it's like you just took a bite of panettone. It's crazy. It makes an amazing festive Old Fashioned. But the Roberto Roy was delicious too. I'm sure you'll find ways to enjoy it in this festive season. Until next time, cheers, friends of cocktails.